Hello, great people. Welcome back to Global Happenings. Today, we're so excited to have you again. Yesterday, there was a video that was trending, and it has to do with the former president of Nigeria, Obasanjo, and the monarchs in Oyo State. The video, if you want to hear it, it's in our this thing in our playlist. And for most people, that was a way of desecrating the Yoruba traditional institution. Most people didn't feel okay with it. But then one of the monarchs have decided to personalize what Obasanjo did, talking about the Olowo of Iwo land, has sent a very strong message to the person of former President Olusegun Obasanjo, making some very strong demand. I tell you the whole, this is really interesting. Let's just dive into the news. The Olowo of Iwo land, Oba Abdulrasheed Akombi, has called out the former president Olusegun Obasanjo over his remark towards Oyo monarch at the inauguration of the 34.85-kilometer Oyo Iseyin road in Oyo State. It was reported that the former president had ordered the monarchs to get up to greet Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde during the commissioning of the Iseyin campus of the College of Agricultural Sciences and Renewable Natural Resources of the Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, Iseyin. Obasanjo, who was a special guest of honor at the event, expressed dismay over the behavior of the kings, describing it as disrespectful towards the office of the governor and himself when they were being introduced and the monarch were seated. Reacting to Obasanjo's remark, the Olowo, through his chief press secretary, Ali Ibrahim, criticized the former president for what he saw as a desecration of the traditional institution in Yoruba land. He faulted the monarchs who showed abeyance to Obasanjo's directive, considering it as an insult to the traditional institution. According to Lowo, respect should be earned rather than demanded, highlighting that traditional rulers also respect their subjects. According to him, and I quote, said, I trust myself and my stool. At death, there are certain things my soul will not take, let alone when alive, active and kicking. I only blame the monarchs who stood in abeyance to such an ignorable and desecrating of traditional institution from the old man. He went further to say there is a way respect is accorded to people of old age and position by monarchs. Kingship is an institution of God. As such, relating with kings require a high sense of modesty, courtesy, and respect. The display by the former president of Nigeria, General Obasanjo, was an affront, an intentional desecration, and sacrilege against referred to of Yoruba land. An injury to one is an injury to all. Yoruba traditional rulers are not uniform men anyone can command at will. I don't blame him. Those royal fathers who stood up to obey such an embarrassing directions are to be blamed. I have strong assurance that such will never happen, and some few monarchs I will not mention. Oluo held that Obasanjo's action was condemnable, adding that Yoruba traditional institutions demand an apology for the open desecration to molest and bring down the institution. He needs to prove himself as a core Yoruba man with an apology later. Kings are not toddlers. We are fathers. We will never try, or he will never try that against the northern emirs. These actions should be a great challenge to the Yoruba, most especially the royal fathers. That was what the Olowo had to tell the former president of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo. And there's something he said which I feel that, he says the truth. Number one, these guys the kingship are traceable to God. They must not be underrated. And secondly, when you talk about kingship, you are talking about people that have been respected in their kingdoms, and they should not be treated with levity, or they shouldn't be talked down upon. But unfortunately, I think that most things that happen around us really happen because of the fact that we permitted it to happen. When little evils start happening and you don't jump on it, rebuke, shout, scream, before you know, the bigger one will happen. Even in Nigerian leadership, that's the same thing that has happened. And that's why in the nearest future, we've got to get ready to expect anything except as a people in the next coming election, Nigerians stand tall, and even the monarch, starting from them, learn to reject anything that will say we are trying to grease your hand and all of that. To restore back the respect of the monarch requires a lot. I don't blame Obasanjo for what he did. But I think that the monarchs need to come to a point whereby they start looking at people twice before they give them position of leadership. I can still remember that in the days of old, you go to visit a monarch and your own channel of income cannot be fully traced, or maybe they hear some things about you which is not right. They call you, and even if you offer them things, they reject it, and they try to create an impression. They don't open up to everybody. But unfortunately, that's not what we are seeing today in our society. You go to any place, people are just ready, to collect money from young boys. You're ready to collect money from politicians. You are ready to do anything that they want you to do. Sometimes you collect money from here, you collect money from this. Even in the issue of landed properties, sometimes some of the monarchs are involved. They sell land to this person, they turn out and say that, or maybe their boys are behind all those selling of land. Whenever such things happen, know that you have initiated into yourself into politics. And when you do that, what will follow it is always high level of disrespect. It's in the holy book that you don't go to the house of a selfish man, open your leg and eat, because he will be watching you. Cut your throat. Whenever you are meeting politicians, they are not the ones that have made you who you are. It was God that kept you in that position, and as such, you are meant to show some level of maturity in the way you reason out things. You make your position known. You stand tall for the truth. You stand tall for integrity. You stand tall for righteousness. Immediately, a king does that. Respect ordinary will just come to the truth. It's really shocking that in our own time, we are hearing laggards, people who are thieves, people who are robber gangs, killing a monarch. Sometimes they pursue the monarch and send him out of his seat. Haba, it has never been like that. But we took it to them, and that's why they have to treat us like that. However, just like they have demanded, I feel also that Obasanjo, I don't know what kind of pressure he found himself for him to have acted that way. But this Obasanjo is not just today's man. I respect that man so much because, number one, he is an elder statesman. He has ruled this country 2 times. The man's eyes have seen a lot of things. So any action he takes, I tell you the truth, he's taking it for some reason. Let's wait to see if he will respond to this, because already there are a lot of things that he normally respond to. Let's see if he's going to respond by, apologizing as they have demanded, or he will give them reasons why he did what he did. That's where we would like to leave it. Let's meet in our comment section